Thank you for having me here again. Today's speech, we're going to talk about is technology destroying our kids? Okay, my specific purpose is to persuade you guys that technology is not destroying our kids. The central idea that I'm focusing on today is that there's no hard evidence or research that validates that technology is destroying the youth from a bright future opposed to the old traditional childhood upbringings. Okay? So, here I go. You know, as a father, I constantly argue with this myth with my wife about technology and its effect on today's generation of kids. The belief that today's kids are lacking social skills due to the consumption of technological devices and social media has raised an awareness in the older traditional generation, excuse me. But is it a concrete fact with substantial evidence that the old methods of socialization, developmental upbringings, and traditional educational learning techniques somehow been lost in our kids? Is technology making smartphones smarter while our kids get dumber? After going and doing some research, I hope to persuade you each to diffuse that belief, to defend our youth, and to open your minds of the truth that technology is not destroying our kids. It is we as parents that need to regulate technology in our kids. This is not a new issue. It's always been a constant issue with the older generations. From our parents, to their parents' parents, to their parents' parents, and so on and so forth. It is we that need to adapt. Technology is here to stay, ladies and gentlemen. And as we can all learn so much from our new generation of technologically savvy kids. Technology is made to be a tool to enhance a better way of life and connectivity with the world. Never has the new age been able to connect to the whole world at a touch of a click. The old method of communication through telegraph has completely advanced to an instant messaging or electronic mail, simply saying email. Friends and family from all parts of the world are connected now like never before, and it creates a network of relationships that are in tune and in touch with each other at all times, whenever, wherever. Technology has opened a new age of techno-capable kids that are born into this society and are being misunderstood by the past generation trying to keep up with this ever-changing world. We as species of intellect and innovation have come a long way from our ancestors. From the invention of the telephone to automobiles and capturing images on a camera, technology has evolved to enhance our way of living from decades up to our present time here. I remember being introduced to CDs and DVDs in my age. It was such an unthinkable way of technology to my old folks though, since they were used to tapes, records, and VHS tapes. I also grew up in the beginning of video games like Atari, Nintendo, and Sega Genesis. My folks grew up in an era where owning a television with a music entertainment stereo were luxuries in a modern day home. All throughout those times, people always ran into issues that the new generation was falling apart from traditional upbringings. I remember having issues with my parents about technological devices. It was hard for the working class family to even own a computer, let alone the internet. Author Mitch J. said it in an article called "Children Are Not Outside Playing, Don't Blame Technology." He said that people are creatures of habit, and anything new typically leads to some form of objection, raising eyebrows to waving pitchforks. He speaks about the responsibility that technology has on our kids, but the responsibility of we as parents lacking in parental skills values, and our kids' dispositions? Should we blame the iPad for taking away our kids' interest in exercise and sports? Could it possibly be that we create this behavior in our kids? In an interview with a professor at Harvard University, author Steven Pinker asked, "What can we learn from our youth?" Professor Michael Welch answered, "Having once been a young person myself, I remember that vilification that was hurled at us baby boomers by the older generation. This reminds me that it is a failing of human nature to detest anything that young people do just because older people are not used to it or have trouble learning it." So in conclusion, I encourage all of us who have kids and struggle with this issue that technology is creating a world full of zombies missing out on life. Remember that we create what our kids become with their unoccupied minds. The awareness should be reflecting on our parenting skills, myself included. We should regulate the amount of consumption that we allow our kids to have with their devices. In the meantime, let us embrace technology as something good and prepare our kids for a bright future, as the author Mitch said. So I leave you all with this. I leave you with this great ending from Professor Michael Welch from Stanford University. He says, "We live in an age of almost infinite information and learning opportunity. And so the key here is that we have to inspire people to have a sense of wonder and curiosity. And if we do that, then they have what is essentially the world's largest knowledge machine at their fingertips. But if we fail at that, then they have the world's largest distraction device." Thank you. And before I leave, I just want to reiterate where did I get my information from. I want to give thanks to the references that I have to author Kay Weir. In an article says, "What impact is information technology having on our young people's health?" Author Shaw G. with the title saying, how the internet has changed us and why we must change how the educators educate our youth. Pinker S. What we learn from our youth, policy options. Mitch J. again from Children Are Not Outside Playing, Don't Blame Technology. What Became Values and Manners. There was an article from the Berkshire Eagle. And Some Parents Need a Little Bit of Convincing from the San Jose Mercury News. And also We Are All Cyborgs by Case A in a TED Talk received by the internet. So thank you. Have a nice day.